There must be a manual for rabbis somewhere that says when you're giving a message on Yom Kippur at the Yizkor service, don't tell a joke. Two conservative Jews go on a vacation to a remote Pacific island. After dining at the resort for several nights, they asked the manager, "Is there a restaurant on the island?" The manager tells them, "If you go to the far side of the island where the locals live, there is a place there that will serve you." And so they set out on dirt roads and wooden bridges, and they make it to the place. And it's just what they're hoping for. The wife says to the husband, "The specialty of the house is roast suckling pig. Let's get it." And he says, "We can't. Can we? I've always wanted to try it." They order it and wait in anticipation. While they're waiting, they hear a voice behind them that sounds familiar. It's their rabbi. "Friedman's? Friedman's, is that you? Hi, Rabbi. What are you doing here?" He can't believe it. Oh my gosh. So the rabbi comes to the table and they start talking and sharing. Meanwhile, the Friedmans are doing everything they can to get rid of this rabbi, and he's having none of it. The coincidence, it's unbelievable. And the Friedmans say, "It is unbelievable." And just then, the doors of the kitchen burst open. A parade of the entire waitstaff comes to their table carrying an enormous tray with a lid and sets it down in front of the Friedmans. With great ceremony, they lift up the lid, and there is an entire roast suckling pig with all of the garnish on the side and an apple in the mouth. In silence, the three of them stare at the platter. And then the wife looks up and says, "Can you believe this place? You order an apple and look how they patchki it up." Friends, it's a small world. This past summer, Rabbi Elaine and I drove all through the Northeast visiting family and friends. And at the end, we had 2 free days left, and we decided to get away, just the two of us. Romance. And we have a rental car, and we can go anywhere. We decide that morning we want to go to Newport, Rhode Island. We had never seen Toro Synagogue. On our way there, in the car, we literally are looking for places to stay and found this bed and breakfast. Perfect. We get there. It's adorable. We love it. The next morning, we head out to go see the sights. Rabbi? What? Rabbi? We turn and look, and there are 2 temple members who have rented the house next to our bed and breakfast and have for 20 years. So we catch up and we talk and so on, whatever. And then we say our goodbyes and we're walking away. And Elaine and I just turn and smile at each other. And we're thinking the same thing, which is, you may think you're going on a getaway, but someone is always watching. And it's the truth. You never know who you're going to see and whom they're going to tell. Wherever we go in this world, eyes are upon us. God is watching us too. Wherever we go, God is there and sees what we are doing. And there's no hiding, no walls thick enough, no darkness dark enough. Everything we do is seen by God and recorded in the book of life. Each year on Yom Kippur, we remember this. We say to God, you write and you seal, you record and recount. We say, as the shepherd seeks out the flock and makes the sheep pass under the staff, so do you muster and number and consider every soul. God sees every deed and records every deed. It makes you think twice. We each have a book of our days, and we hope that there's more good in it than bad. Two weeks ago, I gave a sermon on Shabbat where I encouraged the congregation to imagine that each of us is alone in the sanctuary on Yom Kippur, standing alone before God in judgment. I mentioned that night an interesting article that had appeared that week in the Wall Street Journal. The author was an observant Jew who did not believe in God. He said, though, that it helped him, he found it helpful to imagine that God was watching. Just imagining eyes upon him was enough to encourage him to avoid sin and behave well, even in private moments. After the service, a new member said something that hit me like a bolt of enlightenment. She came up to me and said, I don't imagine that God is watching me. I picture that my parents are watching me, and I don't want to disappoint them. I thought about her words all the rest of the night. She's so right. I absolutely think about my Father watching over me, and I want to make him proud. When something goes right, I definitely think of him being happy about it. We'll give someone a moment. Maybe that's him. When something goes right in my life, I definitely picture my Father looking down and being happy about it. It makes every success sweeter. But it goes the other way too. I have a mug that he used every single morning for his coffee, and I take it out and use it about once a month. And I've noticed, and here, by the way, I should say this makes no rational sense. I can't tell you in any logical reason why this happens, but that it happens. on the days that I use his mug, I am extra careful to be good. Because I feel his presence so strongly with me that he's right there, and I don't want to disappoint him. We have a family at Temple that raised 3 kids here. At each B'nai Mitzvah, they brought candlesticks from home to the temple that belonged to the children's great-grandmother. She was the matriarch of the family who had passed years before. But the candlesticks represented her. Bringing the temple was a way to honor her and remember her, but also to show her. The candlesticks helped them imagine that she was right there with them, seeing all of this. And it was a way to say to her, look what we did. We brought our child to become a bat mitzvah. We're keeping the traditions. You can be proud. You see it also often with a special tallis that belonged to a grandfather. When we wear it, it's like a warm embrace, feeling their love again and their presence. With the tallis, we imagine that they are watching, and we want them to see that we're doing well. We're following the traditions, Grandpa. We're keeping your values. All of us are here because we have lost loved ones. When they were alive, they watched over us and cared for us. Many of us believe they watch over us still. We feel it. When they were alive, we sought out their opinion. We cared about how they felt. Why should that change now? Imagine your loved ones looking down on you now. They see who you are and who you've become. They see you attending services on Yom Kippur. They are proud of you. They are very proud of you. One more story. Earlier this year, a member of our temple passed away and left his beloved wife a widow. He was a fan of technology. She was not. He knew how to operate every gizmo in the house. She never learned. When he knew he was dying, he spent his last month teaching her how to manage without him. He showed her where all the records were and passwords, and he showed her how to use each of the electronics. When he died, she was heartbroken. But the house was full of family and friends and hubbub. After 10 days, everyone had left. It grew quiet. She was alone. The internet went out. She got anxious. How can she deal with this? And then she froze, overcome by the sadness that she had lost her life partner and the one who had taken care of these things. She was overwrought, and the internet was still out. And then she stood up and got the sheet of instructions he had made for her. And she went and found the router and flipped the switch, and then flipped the switch again, and the internet came back on. And she saw her husband smiling down on her. He was proud of her and relieved to see that she was going to make it. Friends, we are never alone. You can go to the far corners of the earth or Newport, Rhode Island, and someone will see you. And even when you are sure you are alone and hidden away, God can see you. And not just God. Our loved ones look down on us and keep tabs on us. This year, let's embrace these watchful eyes. Let's make them proud. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be God's will. And let us say, Amen.